This is day 1 of quitting smoking again. I found that the last time that I quit, not smoking, but vaping, about a year ago, little more, that it helped me to document the process. I guess it made me feel a little bit more held accountable. And, there's a difference between having something on the record, putting it out there, to have others witness your thingamajig, and just silently sneaking off to do that thing that you now feel shameful and guilty about and have to keep a secret. So, last night, smoked my last cigarette, and I always do this thing when I'm trying to quit where it's like, I don't know, I'm trying to justify it in my head. Yeah, I'll taper off, and but this last cigarette is going to be the best one, and I'm going to enjoy it so much, right? I'm going to enjoy that last cigarette to the last drop, to the last puff. Everyone is going to be so pleasurable, and I'm going to be so in it, and I'm going to so respect the drug that is tobacco, and then I'm going to get out of there, and I'm going to say I am not addicted to this thing anymore. And so I don't think that works, because having an expectation for what it's going to be like is just kind of already setting yourself up for failure. I mean, nothing is ever going to be the best, the most, like, to every last drop, like squeeze it, wring it out. It's just trying to take control of a situation, essentially. It's trying to control it and make it exactly the way that you think you want it is, which isn't necessarily the thing that is the best for you. Because what you're really doing in your mind, or sorry, not you, but what I was doing in my mind in that moment was I was creating a link between the idea of pleasurableness and having the cigarette, which would only make it more enticing the next day. Today, it's the morning after that. But I started out thinking that way, that this will be the best, and then I was kind of just, it was cold and unpleasant outside, and it was raining a little bit, and it was just damp, and the weather was like miserable, and I'm not standing on the peak of a mountain or anything, and I'm realizing that, okay, there's no way that I'm gonna make this the best. I mean, this is something that I'm trying to leave behind. And then I just kind of in the dim light, I wonder if I can, no, I don't think I can recreate it, but in the dim light of the street light, I looked at the side of my house. I was standing on my front porch, and I saw my shadow, and I watched my shadow, and I held up my hand that was smoking my cigarette, and I started allowing myself to engage in a childlike game of doing a little shadow dance, and just like watching myself and having this motion of fun, and just, having it and dancing around and like watching the shadow play. And it became more about this being a little goodbye dance to commemorate the ritual that I was performing of cessation. And so then, once I was doing that and the pressure was off to make this like the end all be all, I felt great. And I was like so happy And I also felt like I had just discovered something really important about, letting go of these ideals when they're not realistic and they don't suit you. And I went back inside, and I wish I could have filmed that dance because it was so much fun. But this is day one, and of no nicotine, and I quit about a year ago for maybe like 7, 8 months. And I had quit vaping, so it was a little bit different. I started vaping to quit the smoking. Obviously, that just made me nicotine more. And I did that by buying a non-nicotine vape and getting a water bottle that had a silicone nozzle that felt enough like the nozzle of a vape pen. So basically, and the non-nicotine vape that I had it was just absolutely disgusting. I don't even remember the brand, but it was so disgusting. And it was so disgusting that it made me hate the idea of vaping. And then to transition off of it, I had this water bottle now with a silicone nozzle, which was much more pleasant than the non-nicotine disgusting vape that I was vaping. And the water bottle replaced the habit. And then it was tough. I was not in a great mood, but I was able to power through, and documenting the process again, which I did. I kind of posted a bunch of TikToks and stuff. Doing that helped a lot. I keep distracting, but it's important to remember how I did it before so that I can do this again now. And I had like a month or two of, I don't know, it started when I went back into the city and I was suddenly confronted with a bunch of social situations that in the past have made me anxious, and I did not realize I was unable to cope without some form of nicotine. So I went back to the city and I went to some populated events where there were lots of people I knew, but also lots of peripheral acquaintances, and that's usually where the nervousness seems to come in. And so I started again. I started like chain smoking, started like bumming cigs off other people. I didn't buy a pack, but when I came back home, I found, my pack of rollies that I had stashed away for some kind of emergency. And I rolled like an entire bag of cigarettes, and I smoked a bunch of packs that were like lying around that we also had here for emergencies that and I tried to like give some of them away. And yeah, everything from like a few moments of weakness like this where I just kind of was at a social outing and I started smoking to try and like soothe my nerves, and that turned back into a habit, and then all of a sudden there I was, and I'm like smoking a set number of cigarettes a day, and I'm rolling them, and I'm just whatever I can. I like bummed one, and that's something I'll always do. I'll tell myself that like I'm not gonna like degrade myself. Like I'm just gonna smoke what there is here, and then I'm not gonna do any more. And then I bummed a cigarette when I was done with all the rollies and like the packs that I had around, even though I had like given them away. And then I and I'm still trying to, and I was still trying to like. Then I bought a pack, which was the thing that I told myself I wasn't gonna do. I'm like, but it's always like, okay, I'm not gonna like smoke. Well, okay, maybe like I'll smoke, but I won't buy any cigarettes. I'll just bum them. Okay, well, it's not really fair of me to be taking cigarettes from other people at this point. So maybe I should just go ahead and buy the pack. And at the point that I'm buying the pack, I'm like, I'm hiding it, you know? Um, Nobody likes cigarettes. A lot fewer people smoke them these days. I mean, I guess people are vaping more, but the smell is something to be considered. It really bothers people. I know that it bothers I don't know. It's just unpleasant for anyone that I might have to be around. And it's like unpleasant for me too. I don't like it. I bought a pack, and that was the thing that I kept telling myself I wasn't going to do. And within a few days that pack is gone already. And the vape shop down the street is closed. And I can't get any of the stuff. I can't afford to get. I mean, I can't afford for my health for all this stuff. And today's the day. Today's day one. I can't do it anymore because I woke up and I knew that immediately I was going to want this. I'd done like this little dance to solidify it, and I lay back and I just meditated on it hard. As hard as I could. Which involves like kind of letting go for me. You don't want to focus all your intensity on anything. You want to like allow the intensity to like kind of permeate the membranes of consciousness around inside you. What I can get into that kind of thing later, but I was in conversation with myself, and I can be kind of wise. Not gonna lie, if I actually listen to myself, communicating to myself very clearly and directly, because I woke up and I knew that I had to do something to solidify the continuance of the cessation of the smoking. And so I said to myself, and I heard myself say, not with language, but with vibes, look, right, you just woke up, you're about to want to smoke a cigarette. That's just inevitable. You're going to want to smoke a cigarette. But there aren't any here. You're not going to go buy any because you're just not going to. And there's no further justification. Like, we're just going to stop now. It's not around. Don't go out of your way to make it around. You did the dance, right? And that was a good way to mark what is happening now. And just don't do it. And I don't know about you, but someone who struggled with a couple different types of addictions in the past, mostly to do with substances, but I would argue that probably facets of my relationship to the internet have been the worst addictions that I've ever really had. But that's not important because, I mean, that's not destroying my body. So that's not like important to really talk about right now in the context of this. I just know that the best way for me to personally And I'm not saying this is the best method that would work for anyone else, but the best way for me to do this personally is to just stop. Cold turkey, as they say it. Because, you know, I'm spontaneous, I'm spunky, and I'm spiffy, and I'm quirky. And I will just do whatever happens to be lying around. And a lot of the times, that doesn't really matter what it is, you know. And it doesn't even really matter how it will make me feel, if I like it or not. It's just a compulsive thing. That compulsion, impulsivity has, I've got it a little bit better under wraps these days. But that's just because I'm thinking a little more straight, I guess. Anyway, I have been posting a lot of very silly and nonsensical and more vaguely topicked videos recently, but people seem to have resonated the most with these. God, I want one so bad. Don't even say it. Okay, people seem to resonate the most with these videos where I am just kind of earnestly sharing my feelings and thoughts and ruminations on a matter. And I understand that this, if that's the reason that people are subscribed, they might like this every once in a while, instead of me just like acting as insane as I possibly can and like trying to push the boundaries of what creation is. I don't need to be doing that 24/7, and in fact I can't, or I'm just gonna like burn myself out completely. And I forgot where the sentence started again, something that I do often. Oh yeah. But yeah, I think that it's good to have these more reflective videos. And it's good to recontextualize myself again and again as a human person, who, because I am that. And but I don't know. I don't know, as far as like experimental comedy and things like that go. It's kind of hard to see how it's going to directly benefit a viewer, maybe. Um, but with this, I mean, yeah, I mean that's what I do for fun too, and that's what I do, and that's like what I want to do creatively, is just kind of make stuff that's new. But in terms of um my overall goal, as, I don't know, as someone who is like speaking to other humans, I I I just want to help. Um and of course I want, attention, and of course I want to seem cool, but I also don't want to seem too cool. I want to be able to humble myself and ground myself and kind of transcend seeming like I have any kind of control over what people will like, or like how they're going to perceive me. And I also want to avoid like getting trapped into a niche and like doing things just for other people, but not putting out what I feel is important for me to do for myself. Because I think it would be really sad if I tried to distill myself just into a version of what I thought other people wanted. that's not a value. Um, that's not meaningful, and that's, that just comes out of a need to be validated. But which I still need. I mean, I'm posting on the I'm posting on the internet all the time. Of course, I want validation, but lately I'm a little less addicted to that. I'm a lot less inclined to like be just checking my phone. It start. I guess I got kind of an overload, and it stopped meaning so much to me anymore. And I'm worried about what this is going to mean for my relationship to humanity as it stands, not in person, but online specifically, because um because it becomes overwhelming. And because online it's confusing, you know? And there are a lot of people who are saying so many nice things to me. And I've also got this whole life, you know, outside of that, and I want to keep the I want to keep the internet life as small as possible and my outside life as big as possible, because for most of my life it's been the opposite. And um I'm not as young as some people might think I am. Um I'm not that old either. I for some reason I just refuse to tell anyone my age. But yeah. So I'm quitting cigarettes, and this is day 1. And I talked to myself about it, and I told myself that this is just a vice. And it's a choice that I'm making about my own health. So we can check back in later and see if I've made it through the day. I can tell you right now that what I really want to do as soon as I get off of this video is I want to go take all of the cigarette butts from that may have been carelessly strewn around the side of my house on the porch, and I would like to roll them up, because I've got papers, into a little cigarette and stick a filter in it and smoke it, and that will be the last one. But I can't do that. And you know why? It's the morning. What am I going to do for the rest of the day? So I'm just going to keep this record. I'm just going to keep this record so that I can have it. And so that it can just be here as a reminder, not just for me, but for everyone else, of that I'm doing this. I don't want to. Okay. But thanks for holding me accountable. And if you're trying to quit too, best of luck to you. And I hope that this can bring some measure of resonance, and for you to know that you're not alone. Even if you're not quitting, just know that you're not alone. Because we're all one. And our ecosystem of collective consciousness. Thanks so much for watching. Did I already say that? I don't know, but we got a good long video here, and if you would like if you want to, if you want to help me, not with the quitting, but with just with my getting by, you can, press all those engagement buttons, the button that you use to like things, the button that you use to make a comment on this video, the button that especially you use to subscribe to me and be notified of future updates when I may be posting them and such. And then there is the matter of my Patreon, where you can support me more directly. I wish I didn't have to use a third-party service, but I'm not ready to start up my own just quite yet. But that is a really good way to support me and help me continue to have, the resources to continue making videos, and hopefully crazier and crazier ones. And you can not crazy in a bad way, but in like a epic way, and you can also help influence potentially what some of those things may be. And so links to my Patreon is on my channel page, and if you're using a desktop browser, it should be at the lower end of the info tab on this video, the description. There's like a video, there's all kinds of stuff there. There's we got Patreon, we got Linktree, we got Instagram, we got TikTok. I think we might even got Cameo. I'll do that too. But no matter what I do, I just can't not be me. Even when I'm delivering self-promotion advertisement. So, all right. Well, that's my... What is that sound? I'm picking up strange vibrations. Anyway, it's Monday, right? Okay, yeah, Monday. Day 1. I'll check back in with you later. How about tomorrow? Let's check in tomorrow. Maybe at the end of the day if things are going really bad. But we'll plan for tomorrow. All right. Sounds good? Sounds good. See you then. Bye-bye.